Hey, Jules Plus Vegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those of you who are new, I know you can benefit. So today is day one of my third 10-day segment of eating clean. So I used to do 30-day challenge, 90-day challenge, 180-day challenge. I think one time I literally did like a 300-day challenge. And it's just not feasible. Like life happens. Those challenges are too long and too big. And I need little celebrations in between, right? So, 21 days ago, because I literally did my first 10 days, yay. Yesterday was the 20th day, yay. So today is day one of my third 10-day segment. And I encourage you to try it. I think we can do anything for 10 days. And if I don't think of it as much bigger than that, I can do well. So, yeah, that's where I am. I just wanted to celebrate. I had 20 days of clean eating. And by clean, I just mean what I established for myself as my plan. Because we all have different eating, regimens, schedules, food choices. I made a plan for myself. I stayed true to it, and I call that clean eating. So that was for me on my plan. And yeah, today is day one, which I can do, of 10 days, which is just the right size. And so I'm doing a talk on the best things you can do to avoid a binge, to head off a binge. And I just need to remind myself of things like that all the time. So what happened today was we didn't have students, but we did have a training all day. And it's just crazy. Like, some people are salt and, crunchy people. And I am just sweet, 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 sweet. And I don't just mean my personality. I couldn't resist, you know that. Yeah, I just kind of favor sweets. Like, that's straight up. And I don't have really any boundaries or ability to not engage, if you will. And I've been working on my mindset and just, reminding myself of the tools that I have and just the better way. I know we're supposed to recall our why, but when I'm in the thick of it, it's very hard. And suddenly that all important why becomes about this big. And I just look at it and go, wait, what? It's not that important anymore. Let's eat. Okay, so what happened today was I totally made my breakfast, yay God, and I was content. And then I showed up for this training, and right away they had, and warning, I'm going to mention some foods, but they had mighty muffins, like big mighty muffins, and they had the grace to cut them in half, which I appreciated. And they had breakfast danishes, and then they had orange juice and apple juice and water, which was great. I don't do juice. I just can't afford, the empty calories, but I definitely can do water. And I took several. And so I was happy for that. And I'm like, I have a plan for lunch. It's all good. So then around 11 o'clock, they kind of announced that it looked like people were waning in their enthusiasm and they obviously needed a snack. So they come out with bags of candy, okay? I think it was sort of the idea of not Halloween, forgive me, Valentine's Day. But it looked just like Halloween candy with hearts, okay? And they poured buckets on every table, saying, help yourself, get some chocolate in you, And I'm just like, more water, more water. So finally it was lunchtime, and I had a plan for lunch, which completely fell through. For so many reasons. So all of a sudden I got something else, and the something else I got, was kind of on my plan. When I think of like Tanny Rod's reset, she has the all the times, the sometimes, and the never. And this was definitely in the sometime, okay? But it wasn't ideal, and it wasn't satiating. Like, seriously. I needed more than that, but any more that I would have chosen would have been completely off my plan. So I just had to remind myself I'm not going to starve, drink some more water. So I drank another water. And then it's like 1 o'clock. I'm still pouting over lunch. And all of a sudden, they bring out trays and trays of cookies, like every kind of cookie. And, people are more than happy to add it to their list of toxic waste. And of course, I didn't. But now my monkey mind starts to go, and I'm starting to hear the chatter of why not us and how come we can't? And that's not fair, like the whole thing. So finally, it was time to go, and I have, this time it was a 60-mile drive with tons of places. Stop here, stop there, stop there. What about that? What about that? I made several outreach calls saying, "Oh my goodness, help! I'm in a very challenging situation," and it was a challenge. It really was, and I just, it's not a first-class crime. It's not a first-class crime. It's just not ideal, and I really am trying to turn it around and take care of myself. So I just had to breathe my way through it, coach my way through it, make those outreach calls. Those were some of the things that I could do. And after a very long day and a very long drive, I made it home. And I stayed on plan. I had to keep reminding myself, somehow when I think of day 20 of eating right, I actually don't gain momentum. I know people say like moment plus moment equals momentum, and you're building your momentum. Somehow it's like, wait, for 20 days I haven't done blank. So I think that's another good reason that if I only think of it as 10 at a time, and that today was day 1, in my mindset it was like there was no way I was going to falter on day 1. I mean, come on. You can't even make it a day, which was a lot different than thinking of it as 21 days. And it's been 21 days. Don't you deserve a break? Like that kind of thing, right? So for myself, bringing it down into a 10-day increment, with this being day 1, kind of got me through, like honestly. All right, so this is called the best things you can do to head off a binge, and of course I'll include it in the description of the video. And before I even forget, I will already copy that link. And this is by WebMD. WebMD, that's valid, right? Okay. Recovery from binge eating disorder, or BED, doesn't happen all at once. You'll feel like you have to binge while you recover. You may even relapse. As time goes by, urges will come less often, and they may be less demanding. It's a tough one. Sometimes you do have to go cold turkey. But there has to be grace in slipping, because for me, if I'm like punishing myself over it, it'll last several days, instead of just having the grace to say, oh, well, you slipped today, let's keep going. Sometimes I can be back on plan by the very next meal. Through treatment, you can learn to manage those strong feelings when they do happen. You'll learn how to handle them. I don't know if you're going to do treatment or anything else. I just want to share the tips. I didn't know this was like an ad. Along with your treatment, there are lifestyle changes that can help you head off a binge, and tips that can help you when the moment hits. What can you do day to day? This is what I was looking for. Number 1, eat breakfast. A lot of people, break fast, right? Breaking your fast, for some people, that's not until 1 or 2 o'clock when they're finally hungry, and that's okay for them. I know for me, darn it, 1 second, I got hijacked. Okay, we're back. For me, I can't play any of the games anymore. For me, it's very gamey in my mind. I can't do intermittent fasting anymore. I can't do skip breakfast till 2 o'clock anymore. Like all of those, as a disordered eater, a compulsive overeater, my experience in my life, I just can't do it. It's too risky, and I'm not going to do it anymore, is what I should say. So 1, eat breakfast. People who binge eat have predictable patterns. Many will eat no breakfast, have a light lunch, then be famished in the afternoon and eat too much. Eat at regular times throughout the day. Timely, predictable meals go a long way toward giving you power over the binge. And I agree. Like, what it is if I do binge, all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, well, I'm not going to eat tomorrow. Well, by not eating tomorrow is setting me up for another binge, right? But because the problem is binge food, and again, I'm always generalizing, and I'm speaking for myself, but I'm hoping it'll benefit someone else. Binge food tends to be empty calories, okay? A ton of empty calories, because if it had quality calories and fiber, the chances of binging on it would be less, because your body would, register that you've eaten because of the fiber and, of course, all of the good vitamins and minerals and things in the food. When it's empty, there's no cue to stop. And so for me to suggest that I'll just, skip a meal or wait a day or fast the next day is only putting me right back into the whole cycle. It's crazy. Number 2, avoid temptation, which I couldn't do today to save my life because it just kept coming at me. And it's important to know that days like that happen too. You're more likely to go overboard if junk food and desserts are at arm's reach. Another reason I'm so proud of myself for not. Plan your treats. Go to a shop and enjoy 1 cup of whatever that is. But don't stock the freezer with gallons of it. Okay, you can guess in the first guess, 3 guesses don't count. Yeah, they were referencing ice cream. Okay. Build, and of course, an ice cream is always the option, right? Go up to my search right there and put in ice cream. I show you great ways to make delicious ice cream with bananas that are full of fiber and goodness. Okay, build a support system. This I do recommend, just like the outreach calls that I did. Pick out a few family members or friends who you can talk with about your struggles. As you're choosing, remember that they need to be able to encourage you when you're feeling down too. You may find a support group. Overeaters is Anonymous, anyone? And remember, Overeaters is Anonymous is for all food disorders. Those who are anorexic, those who are bulimic, those who are compulsive overeaters, anybody who uses the manipulation of food to get through whatever it is that eats them. You would spend time with folks who are on the same journey you are, plus those relationships don't have the emotional ties that can come with family. Because there's certain family members that if they upset me, it makes me want to eat over whatever the issue is, which I know it sounds crazy, but it doesn't make it less real. Okay, get moving. See, that was part of the problem. We were stuck in a room for 8 hours. And even though I could get up to the restroom or get up and pretend to go get another water, there was very little movement, and that's hard too. Exercise, which is a hyperlink, is a great stress, another hyperlink, reliever that can do wonders for your mood. The natural spirit elevating chemicals that physical activity brings can help curb emotional eating. Make sure you ask your doctor what kind of exercise is best for you, especially if you have health issues. I know it's important. All right, identify emotional triggers. So yes, try and figure out what tends to push you into a binge. Is it anger, frustration, boredom? Is it when you're celebrating? Pay attention to which feelings flip the switch and use them as warning signs. Yeah, for me, it's usually fear-based. I'm afraid something's about to happen. It's also lack of control. Like, so I had a plan for lunch today. The plan fell through, and all of a sudden I didn't have any control, And when a schedule goes bad, there's this little window of monkey mind and opportunity that says, ooh, let's fill in the blank with what we really want. All right. Relieve stress. Find ways to handle tough times without food. Some options could be meditation or thinkitation or prayer, yoga or any kind of stretching or breathing, guided relaxation and deep breathing exercises. Absolutely. Stopping a binge when it hits, despite your best efforts, the urge can still come upon you. Try these tactics to stop yourself and have multiple approaches in your toolbox in case plan A fails. 1, sit with the emotion. What are you feeling that makes you want to binge? Identify it and accept it without judging the emotion or yourself. This will be hard at first, but emotions pass, and as you accept your feelings, you realize you don't have to binge to get rid of them or drown them or anesthetize or whatever, right? All right, next one, surf the urge. You may think your desire to binge will just continue to grow, but if you distract yourself with other things and get away from your food triggers, you'll see that feeling start to go away. Think of the urge as an ocean wave that will grow but then wash away. I like that because I'm a beach girl. Distract yourself. Find something to take your mind and body away from food. You can, among other things, play a game you really enjoy, go for a walk, go to the park, mow the lawn, go for a drive, meditate, read a book, whatever. Pick up the phone. Here's where the support system you built comes in. Call your trusted friend or support group member and tell them what you're going through. Talking it out can help make the urge pass. I called 4 different people. Not one was home or available. I left messages. Also, some therapists specialize in working with binge eating disorder. That's straight up. And some medications are FDA approved to treat it. True. Talk with your doctor. Find your happy place. Do whatever makes you feel good about yourself. You can listen to music that boosts your mood, hit the gym, or watch a funny movie. Think it through. If you do start to eat, try to slow down. Pay attention to each bite and don't allow yourself to fall into a daze. Stay in the moment. Allow yourself... Oh, that's interesting. Little typo on their part. That's so true. I can't even count the times where I would start to eat something not on my plan, and before I knew it, like in the blink of an eye, it'd be gone, empty, consumed, finished. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, it's just total disassociation, you know? Be positive. Learning how to change negative thoughts about overeating in your body into positive action is an important step toward avoiding the binge and getting better. Sometimes you can help yourself. Other times, professional help can redirect your thoughts. You can even try cognitive behavioral therapy. CBT is a common treatment for binge eating disorder. A doctor or therapist will likely suggest this therapy first. I was talking with somebody and they were saying, stop labeling the food, right? Stop, and I get this. Stop labeling it as all good or all bad. I'll say clean eating because I know those choices work best for me, but it's knowing why. Why am I choosing them? Because I feel best when I eat them. Because they're healthy and actually serve my body. Because when I eat them, I have a balance and don't have a desire to overeat them. So it's not just a matter of good or bad. I have an understanding of why those foods serve me over other foods, So let's go back to the CBT a second. Most people with this disorder who try CBT get better. It can also help you if you have depression, which often happens along with binging. A version called Enhanced CBT is designed for people with eating disorders. It teaches you to recognize feelings of low self-esteem and other negative thoughts that can trigger binges. Instead of saying, I'm a failure because I eat too much, I'll never get to my ideal weight, it's too hard to eat right. You'll learn to say things like, I'm a good person and I can get my eating under control. With a little effort, I can reach a healthy weight. My therapist, my dietitian, will help me create a diet I can stick with. CBT is usually done once a week for about 20 weeks. Wow. 20 weeks, you could really form some good habits in 5 months. During each session, you'll meet with your therapist alone or as part of a group. They have another one called interpersonal psychotherapy. Therapists use IPT to help people with depression for a long time. Today, it's also used treating eating disorders. IPT can help you stop binge eating and avoid setbacks. Studies find it works about as well as CBT. IPT helps you figure out whether problems at home or in your other relationships are triggering your binges. That is a hard yes. That's a hard yes. And it's not just at home, but at work. Like, there's just certain situations where, oh my gosh, in the middle of everything, all of a sudden my brain will just start freaking out and just start going through the stuff of, I can't believe, and oh my gosh, and la la, like crazy. 3 phases. Phase 1, you identify the problem in your personal life that makes you want to overeat. Like what I was saying, is fear. Like fear that, I'm not going to say. I was going to say, but out of respect for who I was going to reference, I'm not going to say. But I think what it all comes down to, let's just say, no matter what I was about to say or who I was about to say or what was it, at the end of the day, it all comes back to not being in the present moment. Because none of those things exist in the present moment. Can't change the past, and what I'm worried about and what I'm allowing to affect me hasn't happened. So that's accidentally getting into the future, right? So while I could give several examples, I need to stop with the understanding that it all comes down to living in the present. Number 2, oh wait, maybe you snack whenever you feel lonely or after you get in a fight with your parents. Number 2, your therapist shows you how to build better relationships. That's cool. Number 3, you work to stick with your changes you've made and prevent binge relapses. IPT is usually done once a week in a group of one-on-one or one-on-one. Dialectic behavior therapy. DBT is similar to cognitive behavioral therapy, but instead of trying to change your negative thoughts, you accept and learn to live with them. Just, that's your truth. This one could help me. I came from a really hypercritical background. And so when I'm feeling off my game, insecure, things aren't in control, I immediately start criticizing myself to no end. To try and stop that criticism would take a lot of work and many, many years of undoing. I'm kind of interested in this one where it says you accept that that's your process and you learn to live with it. If I could just get through all of the mental abuse for a moment, instead of trying to stop it, change it, which gives me another chance to put myself down for doing it in the first place. Like, I tend to be shame-based that way. So it says relaxation techniques like deep breathing and yoga help you become more aware of your thoughts. Therapists have used DBT to help people with personality disorders who have self-destructive habits, which I can totally relate to. Research is still being done to see how well it works for binge eating, but so far it seems to help, and those who start the program are able to stick with it. And finally, there's guided self-help. If you don't have time for regular therapy sessions or you can't afford them, guided self-help may be an option. Some self-help programs are ones you complete on your own. They involve using books, DVDs, videos, and other guided self-help programs. You meet with a therapist or healthcare professional for guidance. This professional will recommend books, computer programs, or self-help videos for you to use at home. It's up to you to put in the time and the effort. One study, this is kind of where I'm at right now. I'm kind of using a program for support right now, and it's just me and the program. And I appreciate that because when I'm in group, I tend to be a little codependent and wanting to help everybody else succeed and kind of be the go-to girl. And right now I just need a lot of personal time to really get well and get some momentum behind my own wellness. So I appreciate this. One study of people with binge eating disorders found that those who did a 12-week, self-guided manual-based form of cognitive behavioral therapy had greater remission from binge eating than those who got more traditional care, and more than 1/3 stayed well a year later. Thank you. More tips to lift your mood? Even with these treatments, you can slip back to your old ways of thinking from time to time. To stay positive, you can give yourself encouragement. Leave sticky notes around your house with inspiring messages like, you can do it. Stick them on mirrors and other places where you'll see them every day. Keep a list of 10 things you like about yourself. Whenever you get down, read the list. If you have a setback, give yourself a hard time. Just make sure to get back on track the next day, or again, the very next meal if you have the grace. Surround yourself with people who make you feel good about yourself and reward yourself for the gains you make. Get a message or take a warm bubble bath, for example. I love it. I love it. I love those last ones a lot because I've kind of been doing that. I've been kind of reminding myself, you're a good person, Juliana. You're not your weight. You're not your slips. You're royalty. You're in God's holy family and you're royalty. Own that. And the rest will just come. Or it won't. And fat people go to heaven and that's okay. I know. Did you just call yourself a fat person? Hey, I'm just being straight up. I have too much weight on my body. It's not comfortable, and that's okay. All right, that was long, you guys. I hope you took a break in between, but I thought it was interesting and I got some good things out of it. So, like if you like, join us if you haven't subscribed. Let me know in the comments below how I may support you. Do any of these help you with how to stop a binge? Is that your story? And until we talk again, best of all, we're still here, there's still hope, and therefore, you're blessed.